I once lost my entire salary on a decision that felt right to me. My mind was flooded with 1,000 thoughts, I was listening to everyone's advice, building Excel sheets. And still, I got stuck. And the scariest part? I hadn't done anything stupid. I made a calculated decision. And still, the outcome was wrong. This contradiction is at the heart of this video. Darius Foroux's book, Think Straight, addresses this exact gap. Where the mind is incredibly busy. But direction is zero. So the question isn't whether you're thinking too little or too much. The real question is, if your mind is this busy, then why aren't you moving forward? Today I'm going to share 7 secrets with you that look different on the surface, but actually point to the same mistake. The mistake that's silently weakening your thinking. Secret number 1, the one habit that quietly drains 80% of your mental energy. Secret number 2, what successful people remove before making a decision, not what they add. Secret number 3, your mind lies to you every day, and you believe it. Secret number 4, a simple formula that breaks through confusion in 5 minutes. Secret number 5, why more options create paralysis, not clarity. Secret number 6, overthinking versus strategic thinking, why recognizing the difference matters. Secret number 7, the daily practice that creates clarity, not noise. And finally, at the end of this video, there's a bonus secret. That if you miss, the other 7 points will remain incomplete too. The mistake we're about to discuss is so common that people don't even recognize it as a problem. And exposing blind spots like this is exactly what Book Echo English does. Here we talk about books that have made an actual difference in successful people's lives. Not theories, tested thinking frameworks. If you really want to upgrade your thinking, then subscribe. Because every video reveals an angle that most people miss. Now let's get straight to the first secret. The habit that's quietly stealing 80% of your mental energy. Notice something strange. In the morning, you're confident. You make small decisions without thinking. But by evening, that same mind starts getting stuck on every decision. What to wear, what to eat, which email to reply to. Everything feels heavy. And the interesting part? You didn't get lazy. You didn't get dumb. You just slowly ran empty. From the moment you wake up. What should I wear? What's for breakfast? Which route should I take to the office? Email first or work first? What should I say in the meeting? What should I order for lunch? By evening, your mind has made around 35,000 small and large decisions. Yes. 35,000. And every small decision, no matter how trivial it seems, drains your mental energy. That's why decisions that feel easy in the morning become confusing by evening. This isn't coincidence. This is depletion. Now here's where people make a mistake. You think the problem is big decisions. Career, relationships, investments. But the real damage doesn't happen there. The real damage comes from those thousands of meaningless decisions you're making every day without thinking. Darius Forux gives this a name. Decision fatigue. Meaning, your mind is slowly getting tired without alerting you. Willpower isn't unlimited. Every day you have a fixed mental budget. If that budget gets spent choosing Netflix shows, deciding what to eat, thinking about clothes, then when the real decision comes, you'll be running on empty. So the solution isn't dramatic. You don't need to go to the Himalayas. The solution is boring. Automation. Fix your morning routine. Same breakfast. Same gym time. Fixed slot for checking email. The more things that run on autopilot, the more clarity you'll have left. And the truth is, freedom doesn't come from chaos. It comes from routine. So do one thing today. Identify the 5 decisions you're making unnecessarily every day. And automate them. Because when the real decision comes, you'll need clarity, not a tired mind. And the next secret: what successful people remove when making decisions, not what they add. That's even more important to know. Let me ask you an honest question. Whenever you have a tough decision to make, what do you instinctively do? You add more information. You search for more options. You ask people for their opinions. You analyze data. Why? Because you think, the more I know, the smarter my decision will be. But reality is the opposite. The more you add, the more tangled you get. I've made this mistake myself. I needed to buy a laptop. Watched 15 YouTube reviews. Compared 10 websites. Asked friends. Read Reddit. Made an Excel sheet. Result? I was more confused than before. Every option seemed both perfect and incomplete. And in the end, I bought the same laptop I had shortlisted in the first 10 minutes. Everything else was noise. This is the exact point where smart people start making dumb decisions. The problem isn't information. The problem is irrelevant information. You try to know everything when you only need to know what matters. Warren Buffett nailed it in one line. Really successful people say no to almost everything. Notice. It's not what they add. It's what they remove. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple in 1997, the company was making 350 products. He didn't improve them. He cut them. Removed 340 products. Kept only 10. And those 10 products saved Apple. This same principle works in your life decisions. Let's say you want to change jobs. You have 5 options. Normal approach. Pros and cons list. Compare salaries. Research culture. Analyze location. Then overwhelm. Better approach. Elimination. First ask. What's non-negotiable for me? Let's say the answer is remote flexibility and decent team culture. Now any options that don't have these, cut them without guilt. 5 options become 2. The decision doesn't just get faster. It gets clearer. This is thinking straight. Not adding. Subtracting. Because clarity doesn't come from complexity. It comes from simplicity. So next time you make a decision, don't ask, what else do I need? First ask, what needs to be removed here? What's just noise? And the next secret? That one's even more uncomfortable. Because it's about the lie. Your mind sells you as truth every single day. Right now, you're lying to yourself about some decision in your life. And you're completely convinced that you're thinking logically. That's the most dangerous part. Your mind wasn't built to find the truth. It was built to prove itself right. Look at an example. You're thinking about changing jobs. Suddenly those same posts start showing up on LinkedIn. Best decision of my life. Switching changed everything. The people with regrets? They're invisible. Because your mind has already decided. Now it's just collecting evidence to justify its decision. This game plays out everywhere. Now look at an even more dangerous case. Let's say you've been in a relationship for 5 years. Deep down you know this isn't working. But still you can't leave. Why? I've invested so much. But what's the truth? Those 5 years are already gone. If you don't leave today, 5 more years will slip away too. The same thing happens in careers. In business. In projects. You spent 6 months on an idea. The market is clearly saying, no future. But still you're stuck. 6 months will go to waste. And with that thinking, you burn another 6 months. Now understand the twist here. This isn't stupidity. This is your mind. Psychology has given these names. Confirmation bias. Sunk cost fallacy. But remembering the names isn't important. What's more important is catching yourself. Whenever you make a big decision, ask 3 questions. Am I only seeing what I want to see? Am I stuck because of past investment? Or am I looking at future value? And the most powerful one. If my best friend was making this same decision, what advice would I give them? Because when the decision is yours, emotions are involved. But in your friend's case, you become brutally honest. Next time there's confusion, imagine you're giving advice. Whatever answer you'd give them, that's your truth. The mind lies. But ask the right questions, and it catches itself. And the next secret? It's not about explaining confusion. It's about breaking it. Literally in 5 minutes. A meeting is happening. Your boss embarrasses you in front of everyone. Your mind is heated. Your ego is hurt. First thought. I should resign. I should respond publicly. I should email his boss. Emotion is high. The decision will be emotional too. Now let's pause. Imagine. You're looking at this decision from 3 different points in time. 10 minutes later. If you resign right now, you'll feel a little better. Your ego will be satisfied. You'll get revenge. 10 months later. No job. Savings are shrinking. You're having to explain the resume gap. And asking yourself, why did I do this in emotion? 10 years later. You might not even remember that incident. But that wrong turn in your career will always be a regret. Now the decision has changed, hasn't it? The boss was wrong. But an emotional reaction would hurt you more. This is what perspective does, it breaks confusion. This has been wrapped into a simple framework called the October 10th, 10 rule. Whenever a decision feels confusing, ask 3 questions. What will be the impact of this decision? 10 minutes from now. 10 months from now. 10 years from now. That's it. And this doesn't just work in careers. It works in relationships too. Feeling tempted to go back after a breakup? 10 minutes. Loneliness will ease. You'll get comfort. 10 months. Same fights. Same issues. Maybe even worse. 10 years. Regret over lost self-respect. Clarity arrives. Now look at a twist. Sometimes the problem isn't a wrong decision. It's not making a decision. Should I join a gym? Should I learn a new skill? Should I talk to that person? Here apply October 10th, 10 in reverse. 10 minutes. Uncomfortable. Awkward. 10 months. Fitness. Skill. Connection. 10 years. Grateful you took action despite the fear. Short-term pain. Long-term gain. In psychology this is called temporal distance. When you look through the lens of time, emotion decreases. Logic increases. Confusion doesn't come from lack of answers. It comes from lack of perspective. And to gain perspective, You don't need therapy or complex systems. Just 3 questions. 3 timelines. 10 minutes. 10 months. 10 years. And the decision that felt heavy right now suddenly becomes obvious. But now the next question is even bigger. Are more options really freedom? Or a trap? Because the next secret is about to break this illusion. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. You're not confused because you have too few options. You're confused because you have too many options. The 5th secret is the paradox of choice. We were taught since childhood. The more options, the better the decision. But in real life, the exact opposite happens. More options don't make you powerful. More options make you stuck. There's a famous psychology experiment. A jam shop was set up in a supermarket. One table had 24 flavors. The other table had only 6 flavors. Now think logically. The table with 24 flavors should have had more sales. But it didn't. More people bought jam at the table with 6 flavors. Why? Because seeing 24 options overwhelmed people. They tasted, compared, doubted, and finally, bought nothing. And the few who did buy went home thinking, maybe the other flavor would have been better. This is the real problem. More choices equals more confusion. More confusion equals less action. Less action equals more regret. Now don't lie to yourself. You open Netflix, 5,000 shows. 30 minutes of scrolling. 0 decisions. In the end you just play the same old series. Look at career options. Engineering, MBA, startup, job, freelancing, YouTube, trading. So many options that years go by without finding direction. Dating apps. Keep swiping. Hoping for the perfect match, you never actually connect with anyone. This is called choice paralysis. Darius Forux kills it in one line. Freedom isn't having infinite options. Freedom is knowing which options to ignore. But this is where ego steps in. What if I choose A and B turns out better? This fear is called FOMO. And hear the truth. FOMO doesn't make you fail. FOMO keeps you permanently average. Because when you try to keep every option open, you can't fully commit to any option. I've done this myself. In 2019 I was doing 4 things at once. YouTube, freelancing, stock trading, and a startup idea. The logic was, I'll keep all options open. Something will hit. But the truth was, I wasn't being smart. I just wanted to prove I could do everything. Result? Mediocre performance in all 4. YouTube, inconsistent. Freelancing, average. Trading, no real edge. Startup, never moved past the idea stage. I was busy. Not productive. Frustration was growing, clarity was 0. Then I made a hard decision. Deliberate elimination. Trading stopped. Startup idea shelved. Only 2 things remained. YouTube and freelancing. And that's where the game changed. Focus came. Quality improved. Progress became visible. This is the principle Buffett talked about. Write down 25 goals. Circle the top 5. Avoid the other 20 at all costs. Because those 20 goals are dangerous. They don't just distract, they slowly drain you. Steve Jobs turned 340 products at Apple into 10. Elimination. Elon Musk said it clearly. Focus means saying no to 100 good ideas. Notice. You have to say no even to good ideas. Because if you chase every good idea, you'll never get great results. So what's the solution? Remember one simple rule. If an option can't become the core of your life in the next 12 months, don't make it an option. Career, max 2 focus areas. Relationships, quality over quantity. Content, 3 trusted sources, the rest is noise. Goals, few, but ruthless commitment. Yes, you'll feel FOMO at first. You'll feel like you're missing something. But after 2 to 3 months you'll see more clarity, less stress, solid direction. And this clarity leads you to the next secret. Because now the question isn't, why am I overthinking? The question is, what's the difference between overthinking and strategic thinking? And that's what the next secret is about to break down. The 6th secret is dangerous, because this is where even smart people get trapped. Most people don't overthink because they're confused. They do it because they think they're thinking strategically. And this mistake eats away years of progress. Because from the outside, overthinking and strategic thinking look almost the same. Both involve thinking. Both involve analysis. Both keep the mind busy. But the results are worlds apart. One moves you forward. The other makes you feel like you're moving forward, when you're actually stuck. Let's catch overthinking first. Overthinking happens when you ask the same question over and over, but secretly hope that this time a new answer will appear. Should I quit my job? You've thought about this question 50 times. Written pros and cons 50 times. Asked friends 50 times. But neither the information changed, nor the situation changed. Just the loop kept running. Now watch the trick here. Strategic thinkers ask the same question too. But they don't get stuck in one place. They break the question down. Should I quit my job? No. The right questions are: if I quit, how many months can I survive financially? What's the real demand for my skills in the market? What's the worst case scenario, and can I handle it? Notice, this thinking isn't spinning. It's finding data. That's the difference. Overthinking equals circular motion. Same thoughts, different day. Strategic thinking equals forward motion. New information, clearer next step. Darius Forux says it clearly. The job of thinking is to lead to action. If action isn't coming, you're not thinking, you're worrying. And most people live in this lie. They think they're doing deep thinking, when they're just polishing their fear. Now how will you recognize it? Simple test. If no new element is being added to your thoughts, you're overthinking. Will the presentation be good? Will people judge me? Will I get nervous? Same fear. Different words. Strategic thinking looks different. Are the key points clear? Did I practice? Is there a backup plan if the tech fails? Here the output of thinking is action. Another difference. Overthinking wastes time. Strategic thinking invests time. 2 hours of thinking, 0 clarity equals overthinking. 2 hours of research, next step clear equals strategy. Now remember the exit rule. Ask yourself, am I solving, or am I spiraling? If it's a spiral, break the loop. Write it down. Decide. Or consciously postpone it. But don't run your mind on a treadmill. And if you're solving, ask this question. What would I need to know to decide this confidently? This one line turns overthinking into strategy. And from here we're moving to the next secret. The daily practice that Silicon Valley's top performers use for clarity. Not for thinking, but for deciding. The 7th secret is journaling. But not the journaling you're thinking of. If your mind runs all day but you still don't have clarity at night, the problem isn't thinking, the problem is you're not writing anything down. The 7th secret is journaling. But not the journaling you're thinking of. This isn't Dear Diary. This isn't feelings-based therapy. This is damage control, a tool to turn mental noise into clarity. Silicon Valley's biggest names, Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman, Tim Ferriss, do this religiously. Why? Because the mind is built for thinking, not for storage. When thoughts stay only in your mind, they remain scattered. They feel overwhelming. They feel important. But the moment you physically write them down, the power shifts. Now you can see them. Judge them. Challenge them. Darius Forux calls this, writing is thinking on paper. Look at a practical example. You're stuck on a decision. 10 thoughts are spinning in your mind. Everything feels important. Everything feels urgent. Pick up a pen. Get paper. And just write. What's my problem? What are my options? What's my biggest fear? If the worst case happens, what will happen? And this is where clarity comes. While writing, you realize, half the thoughts were irrelevant. They weren't clarity, they were noise. This isn't magic. This is psychology. The mind thinks in parallel, everything at once. Paper is sequential, one thought, then another. Clarity emerges in this slowdown. Now people make one big mistake, perfect journaling. Fancy notebook. Colored pens. Instagram spreads. Wrong. Strategic journaling is ugly. It's messy. It's private. Tim Ferriss calls this, morning pages, wake up, write 3 pages. Whatever's in your mind, unfiltered. Because the truth is, 80% of thoughts are garbage. 20% contain insight. But to reach the 20%, you have to get 100% out. Now here a simple framework, 3-question daily journal. Just 5 minutes. Before bed at night. 1. What went well today? 2. What went wrong today, and how could I have avoided it? 3. What's tomorrow's most important priority? That's it. 3 questions. 5 minutes. Every day. In 30 days you'll notice yourself. Your patterns will become clear. You'll stop running from your mistakes. You won't wake up confused. Studies show the same thing, regular journaling. Makes decision-making faster. Reduces stress. Makes goals clearer. Because journaling defragments the mind, like a computer. So start tonight. Don't buy a fancy notebook. Take any paper. 5 minutes. But don't leave yet. Because now the bonus secret is coming. The one habit that ties all these secrets together. And if you miss it, your clarity will remain incomplete. But hear an uncomfortable truth. If clarity still isn't stable, the reason isn't that you don't know enough techniques. The reason is you still want to know everything. And that's the bonus secret. This isn't some extra tip. This is the habit that turns all the previous secrets into a system. The name sounds a bit strange, intentional ignorance. Ignorance always feels negative. We've been taught, knowledge is power. But Darius Foroux says, in the age of information overload, ignorance is a skill. The problem isn't that you have too little information. The problem is you have too much information. Every day your mind gets attacked. Notifications. News. Social media. YouTube. Emails. Messages. And everything feels important. What if I miss something? In this FOMO, you waste your most valuable resource, attention. Attention is finite. Energy is finite. Time is finite. And when you try to consume everything, you can't actually process anything deeply. Surface-level knowledge. Zero clarity. Now notice, the people who consistently make clear decisions. They don't know everything. They know how to ignore. Warren Buffett says, really successful people say no to almost everything. Almost everything, including information. Steve Jobs said, "Focus means saying no to 1,000 good ideas." These people consume less. Deliberately. Intentional ignorance. Now hear the practical system, 80-20 information diet. The truth is, 80% of the information you consume has no real impact on your life. Celebrity drama? Zero impact. Random news? Zero control. Social media arguments? Negative impact. So the new question shouldn't be, is this interesting? The new question is, will this make my next 6 months better? If the answer is no, ignore it. Step 1, Information Audit. Track for 1 week, what are you consuming? And honestly ask, how much of this was useful? 90% will turn out to be waste. Step 2, make a whitelist. Not a blacklist. Just decide, I'll only follow these 3 to 5 sources. Ignore everything else. Step 3, scheduled ignorance. Timebox your information. News, 15 minutes. Social media, 20 minutes. Emails, fixed slots. Rest of the time, deliberately offline. You'll feel FOMO at first. But in 2 weeks you'll realize, you didn't miss anything. You gained clarity. And this is where all the secrets connect. Decision fatigue reduced, because noise is reduced. Choice paralysis reduced, because options are limited. Overthinking reduced, because unnecessary input is gone. Clarity high, because the signal is strong. Think Straight's final rule is this. Clarity doesn't come from knowing everything. Clarity comes from knowing what to ignore. Start today. Open your phone. Delete 5 useless apps. Choose 3 information sources. Decide on 2 daily focus hours, no distractions. Become deliberately ignorant. And watch how sharp your thinking becomes. What we learned today wasn't a collection of techniques. It was a mindset shift. Before, you reacted to every option, every thought, every piece of information. That's why your mind got tired, clarity never came. Today you saw that the problem isn't lack of decisions. The problem is unnecessary decisions. More options aren't freedom, they're confusion. And elimination is the first step to clarity. You understood that the mind isn't neutral. Biases lie to you every day. But ask the right questions and they get exposed. The October 10th, 10 rules showed that once you apply the lens of time, confusion shrinks. The difference between overthinking and strategic thinking was this. One spins in the same place, the other leads toward action. Journaling proved that clarity isn't built in your mind. It's built on paper. And most important, thinking straight doesn't mean knowing everything. Thinking straight means deciding what to ignore. These ideas are powerful separately. But together, they change your thinking's default mode. Do one simple thing tonight. Take 5 minutes. Delete 3 useless apps from your phone. That's it. Notice tomorrow. Your mind will feel a bit lighter. Now an uncomfortable question. You want clarity. You want faster decisions. You want to reduce mental noise. So will you just consume videos? Or will you actually change your thinking? The truth is, ideas are useless until they change behavior. And that's why I'm saying this clearly. If you didn't apply even one thing from today's video, then the next video won't be knowledge for you either. It'll just be entertainment. In the next video we'll break down Patrick King's book. Read people like a book. Not body language. Patterns of signals. Not micro-expressions. Clues to intentions. But first decide. Are you a watcher? Or a doer? If this video hit your thinking, Then like it. Subscribe. Because here you don't get content. You get thinking tools. And tell me in the comments. Which idea from today will you apply? This was Book Echo. Where we don't read books. We read life.